How's it going, everybody? Just making a sort of a documentative video here of like what I'm working on in my business recently. You know, not really for any reason other than just to like look back on it later myself and you know, just really understand like what I was working on and some of the lessons that I'm learning and some of the stuff that's happening here. And you know, I mean, obviously I don't really have to make content in order for our business to grow. And at this point, most of our clients, actually pretty much all of our clients, come from the other marketing that we do, mostly paid ads on Facebook. So this is really just to document, you know, I mean, I literally just had this thought, whipped out the phone and said, all right, let me just talk about what's in my head right now. So right now, I've just come out of a good rebuilding, restructuring season, and we are well on the come up at this point to a level that I've been wanting to be at for a while, but I just didn't have what it was necessary to get there. In order to really scale a business, you know, beyond $100,000 a month, which you could do $100,000 a month with a high ticket offer of any sort, $3,000 to $10,000 offer, putting out good content, taking sales calls, you know, scaling your delivery a little bit outside of your time, maybe group calls, build a great course product. You know, it's a relatively simple model, and I'm really lucky that that's so easy now, to be honest. But you know, I've wanted to go further. So, you know, the goal right now, and this has been the goal for a minute, I just had to unlearn and relearn a bunch of stuff in the middle of a lot of life change too. So, you know, when you're undergoing personal stress, it's harder to learn. You know, just physically, your brain isn't as open to new ideas. So I had to really, so I'll talk about the personal side. You know, I mean, went through so many changes personally, you know, and they're all positive changes, but they're still changes, right? So the nature of change is that the things that worked in the past don't work quite as well now. And so the industry changed a little bit. I got married, which changed how I could approach my life, you know, and I had a kid. So 3 major changes, like the industry that I'm in changed quite a bit. I got married, which is a huge personal change. Had a kid, huge personal change. And then in the old business, you know, we had people leave and, you know, start competing businesses, which, you know, was difficult for me to deal with both personally as well as professionally. But I actually very much celebrate what they've built, and I'm actually really proud of them now, to be honest. Happy that I even gave them a start, you know what I mean? Like, happy that I could be a part of their story in whatever way they're willing to give me credit. So, don't really need any of it though. So that's kind of some of the change that I went through, and so I needed to find sources, places where I could process it. So I started going to, you know, counseling. Got a great counselor. I introduced ketamine therapy into my life, which was a huge deal. Helped me process a lot of the change and a lot of things that changed in my life. I introduced just a lot more hydration. I know it sounds silly, but just being hydrated constantly helps you think clearer. Started meditating daily again. Got back in the Word, got back in Scripture. Started reading good books again. Just, you know, some of that stuff that you just kind of, I started to like stop doing that stuff. You know, just because so many things are happening in my life, I just kept making excuses. But now I'm doing that stuff again and just really taking care of myself, which has been great. And yeah, that's kind of given me the space to, you know, on the professional side of things, you know, create some new solutions for my business, which, you know, are enabling it to scale further. So the first one was a scalable, profitable acquisition channel for clients. And that took forever. Like, I spent freaking $400,000 at least. And I broke even and made a little bit of money here and there, but it was not profitable for the longest time. You know, I just was running ads to what's called a VSL funnel. This is what people call it. Basically an ad where you click it, you get somebody's name, phone, and email, and then they watch an educational video where at the end you encourage them to book a discovery call with yourself or your team. And that took forever because, you know, I'm in a pretty competitive space. You know, there's a lot of voices, so I had to find something that was kind of unique, positioned a little differently, or at least positioned well. Not necessarily unique, but at least positioned well. So I decided, all right, I got to really double down on something. I decided, you know what, let me just teach Instagram. It works really well. Because if you just say, you know, oh, the 7-figure selling system, they're like, what is this even? You know what I mean? So I had to pick a mechanism or pick a thing that, you know, strangers could understand. So I just did Instagram. And I happened to have a lot of clients who were just killing it on Instagram. So I shifted my whole business. I'm like, all right, let me just teach Instagram, because it works so well. You know, I've got multiple clients now doing well over 6 figures a month with their Instagram page. So I'm like, all right, I'll just triple down on this. And at the end of the day, it's just like any other traffic channel. You have a source of new attention and traffic. You nurture that traffic and attention with content or resources. You offer consultations and you enroll the right fits. It's like just the same as any other channel. But, you know, most people haven't matured in their marketing understanding to see it like that. So I just lead with Instagram now. So I started doing that, and that funnel started to really work. It took me forever to figure that out. I started leading with a good, strong mechanism. And, you know, I learned this from Russell Brunson. It's like, he doesn't sell people on ClickFunnels. He sells people on the concept of funnels. And he just so happens to have a software product that's going to show you how to, you know, it's going to enable you to build funnels, right? So I was like, all right, I'm not going to show my coaching program. I'm going to sell people on the power of Instagram. You know what I mean? That's kind of what my whole marketing is like. Instagram's, you know, and it really is an incredible platform for running a 7-figure coaching business. And our best month was 177 grand off that platform, not including other platforms. So, I mean, it really works. So did that, restructured that. And then I had to rebuild my sales team, because during that restructuring, they just didn't have enough opportunity. So I let a lot of people go because I just didn't really feel like I had the opportunity to really feed people and give them the income goals that they wanted. So some people left and I let some people go, and it just wasn't good. I didn't really have that stable, consistent channel, which ads can create, because the money you spend is a consistent input that breeds a consistent output of a certain amount of meetings. And so our booked call cost today is $150 if you include everything that we do. And, you know, we'll spend about $2,800 today, maybe $3,000 today. And I'm just kind of ramping that up. And so then it came to sales team. So, you know, started doing a bunch of interviewing, looking around for people. I had somebody running my sales team there for a minute while I kind of figured this stuff out, because I didn't want to not have a sales team. So I brought somebody in, a good friend of mine, to run that. And he was doing a great job, but he just didn't have the whole picture. He couldn't, you know, quickly make changes to, you know, our marketing based on what the sales team was saying. He couldn't make projections based on our profitability. So we didn't have the whole picture. So I took a step back in and I started leading it again. And, you know, today we have like 22 meetings on the calendar for our 3 gentlemen that we have on that team, and actively looking for a 4th. And then I also had to ramp up and bring in an internal coach who I really trusted and was humble, hungry, smart, ready to serve our clients. And that took some time as well. I had somebody part-time who was kind of, again, just like my sales manager, kind of just helping keep things stable for me while I figured some of this stuff out. And he did a phenomenal job. But he wasn't ultimately willing to go full-time, and that's really what I needed. So we decided to part ways, and now I've got somebody in here who's full-time. And he kind of bought me the time to figure out some of these other things in the business, you know. So figured that out. And then had to keep content going organically, so hired an editor, trained an editor. And yeah, now we're here, you know, and it's just taken me so long to figure this stuff out. Mostly because of the personal stuff that I was going through. I mean, so many changes, right? This stuff isn't that complex. It's just that I didn't have that clean energy, you know. I was operating off of a lot of like, I wouldn't call it desperation, but just a lot of like trying to catch back up, trying to get back to where I wanted to be. You know what I mean? As opposed to really being excited for the future. So I really started to work on that, and the ketamine therapy really helped with that, with me being able to process just so much of this change, and, you know, even the feelings of betrayal and, you know, all that stuff that I dealt with. And I went to, for those of you who are curious, I went to, I think it was 6 or 8 sessions, I can't remember. And ketamine basically just, it's designed to help you form new neural pathways. So I was very intentional. I'd go into these sessions and I'd pray before, during, and after. Dr. D, who's become a good friend, administered the treatments, and he's here local to me. We're actually getting coffee tomorrow. He's an incredible holistic health and wellness individual person. He walks very closely with the Lord, and he's just an amazing guy. And so we've struck up a friendship, and you know, myself and even my dad too are helping consult him on him growing his business, which is really fun. And he's just doing such great work. And so those sessions gave me the space to kind of process some of this stuff and get kind of clear again, you know, because I just got really messy. I was like, all right, industry changed, team changed, got married right on top of that stuff, and then had a kid right on top of that stuff that we weren't planning. But today he's 6 months old in 2 weeks, and today he put the biggest smile on my face. Like, I held him, and I feel so much peace and joy holding that kid. It's just astounding. So yeah, that's kind of the plan right now, right? Is to keep putting up content, sharing my story, sharing my journey, sharing what I'm working on, what I'm developing. And yeah, maybe it inspires some people. But I just want to make this video just to document like everything that I've just done. And kind of the next steps here are, just keep a great book is The Motive by Patrick Lencioni. And it's so funny. A lot of business owners have no idea how important good leadership and management skills are. And it's so boring. And most of the internet space, they just want this lifestyle business where they can just like do a little bit of work, make some money, and F off. And I don't like that. I want to build I don't want to do anything that way. Like, imagine getting married and being like, well, I want to have hot sex like every 3 days, but I don't really want to connect with you. It's like what? It's just like, why would you do that? It just feels weird to me. Like, all the benefits without the sacrifice, throughout history has lended to you not keeping the benefits. We're in this time with the internet where it's like, because the internet is such an arbitraged opportunity where attention is somewhat cheap still, I think, you can sell products and services without putting in a lot of work, but that's going to balance out again. And we're going to go back to the people who are willing to sacrifice the most will get the most. That's just how humanity has worked for forever. And the internet has counterbalanced that for a season, but that's not going to stick around. I mean, you just look at history. Like, that's how the people who were first to the gold rush, yeah, they could screw off. But very quickly that stopped. The first people to, get into the railroad, to build a freaking railroad and go screw off and smoke your cigar. It's like, but that's not how the world will continue to work. So I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to build a real business with real team and like a great culture and an actual business, So that's kind of what I've been wanting to do. So, and anyway, in order to do that, you have to become a great manager and a great leader. And just people sleep on that. It really is a skill set, like anything else. Like, you've probably learned how to make content or do sales calls or anything else. You got to learn how to be a great manager and a great leader. And, it's just something that people just don't do. Like, they don't take the time to develop that skill. And I've been reading some amazing leadership books, Patrick Lencioni, John Maxwell, anything by Dale Carnegie, a lot of operations books like stuff by Michael Masterson, Ready, Fire, Aim, stuff like Traction by that Willink guy, I forget his full name. Just these books about like how to actually run a real business. And, it's just giving me the skill sets and the tools to actually lead a real team. We do these daily huddles and we meet together as a team. And I've really learned, like, talented people don't want to work for somebody who isn't all in. They don't. They want to work for people who are sold out. And like, if you're not sold out, you're not going to get that talent. You're not going to get those people who are really ready to fight that fight with you. And people wonder why they churn team members so much. But then they look at their calendar and they're out freaking golfing with their buddies half the time. Like, duh, you're churning team members. You're not in the fight with them. You're not building something meaningful. Like, do you actually care about this thing, or do you just want the benefits? And there's subliminal communications that you're going to send to your team that will show you really just care about the benefits. And if they read that on you, man, you're screwed. You're just absolutely screwed. And that's my story. That's why my team left, is because I was that guy. I had the $45,000 watch. I had the $80,000 car. I had the vacations and the time away with my fiance. And I had the lifestyle, and I had all this BS. And because of it, everybody on some level knew that I was doing this for my benefit. And so you have to humble yourself and become what Jim Collins, I think he calls it a level 5 leader, which is this concept of this leader who's just so self-sacrificial and puts everything on the line over and over again and doesn't need any credit. And that's how you win. And people just aren't willing to do that because, people are selfish and we're all secretly a little narcissistic. So you just have to work that stuff through. So anyway, I'm ranting now. I hope this was a good piece of content. Just want to whip up the phone. I'm going to finish my run. And yeah, I'll make another piece of content soon. Got some cool client interviews coming on the channel soon. People who are in our program who are doing really, really well. But I just want to keep making content. completely irrelevant of whether anybody buys anything or not, because man, we've got a great system for turning strangers into clients right now, and it's so satisfying just making content that I just want to make. Like, I don't have to think about, you know, how do I drop a call to action that doesn't hurt my viewership? Like, I can just make content. It's so nice. So let's get it.